Alright, I think we're ready to go. I don't think there's anything else we gotta do except turn off the fucking music. Okay. So this is the way it's gonna work, boys. I'm gonna be explaining a lot of tricks. A lot of tricks. Actually, every trick. And my chat interaction is gonna be kind of limited. I would like to keep the focus on the tutorial instead of other stuff. You know what I mean? Because this is a video that's going to go on YouTube that's probably going to be used by a couple people. I know it's going to be used. So I want to make it as clear cut and to the point as possible. So my chat interaction will be semi-limited. I'll still say hi to you, but I'm not going to go into full-blown conversations that are off topic. I hope you guys can understand. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've actually modded him before you said it. Okay, I think the first thing I want to talk about is set the timer. Okay, this is an unofficial beginning of our God of War 2 tutorial. I think we're going to go into the urns first. Nah, the people don't need to leave. I'm going to go into the urns first, because the urns are very important for the run. You definitely need them. They're required. Okay. So yeah, this is my God of War 2 tutorial. This is the New Game Plus, any percent New Game Plus category. This is the only game that actually has a true New Game Plus mode, unlike God of War 1 where you have to actually upgrade. In this one you don't have to upgrade, and you have infinite magic, and a bunch of good stuff if you have these urns. But you have to find them on your run. You have to find these on your in your file before you can use them during a run. I don't know the exact locations of all of them because I got them like 9 years ago, but I know the Urn of Poseidon I think is in Rhodes, I believe, or at least the Urn of Gaia. Maybe not. Maybe we'll get to it at some point. Probably this tutorial won't take that long. Urn of Poseidon is the most important thing. You definitely 100% need this no matter what. Urn of the Fates, not really. Urn of Prometheus is good. You should definitely get that. Urn of Olympus is definitely required if you want to just spam magic the entire run. Usually I keep these. The only ones I actually change is this one during the run. I turn it on and off. The other ones, it doesn't really matter. 10 times the orbs is nothing. Yes, Urn of Poseidon is in the challenge. Okay, Urn of Poseidon's in the challenge of the gods. Yes, thank you, Pio. So basically, the only ones you need are Urn of Prometheus, which stays on no matter what. You don't screw with that. And Urn of Olympus, and that stays on. Don't screw with it. But the Urn of Poseidon, you'll be turning on and off during the course of the entire run. So that's definitely step 1. And of course, step 2 is having everything maxed, which I think the game does by default when you go to New Game Plus. I don't think it maxes. I think it just maxes everything for the New Game Plus. So now that we're done with that, now that you have your urns and you've beaten the game and you have the costumes, I don't know if you have to unlock the costumes. It has been so long since I've done any of this. Let's see. Yeah, you're gonna need bonus costume 7. That's what's required for the run. Yeah, Prometheus is an Atlas. Prometheus is easy to find. I could show you that. I could show you where that is. I'll actually just show you where the urns are during the course of the run. So you're gonna need bonus costume 7 no matter what. That's definitely what you need because it gives you 2 times damage, 2 times armor, and that's about it. But you don't need to do any crazy things like having stuff max your orb count, quadruple your orb count, none of that. It's all taken care of for you in this. So, let's start. So you're going to do easy, as always. Bonus play, yes. And of course, select this costume.
By defeating Ares,
the god costume. The one I always use. This one. It's actually one of the best looking ways, the best looking Kratoses of the entire series. So you can skip this cutscene easily. A lot of the cutscenes can be skipped in this game. Actually, like 85% of them. So what we're gonna do here, these soldiers run around and they spawn at a certain rate. But what you want to do is use Atlas Quake over and over again, and you have to keep an eye on your hit counter. And you basically just walk up to this door. And just keeping an eye on your hit counter, and you want to make that hit counter be 21 before you get to the gate. So when you get to the hit counter to 21, when you're at the gate, you're able to grab this gate before this cutscene plays and save some time, just a little bit. So you want to make your hit counter 21, and when you hit this gate, you want to make sure that the hit counter is 21 when you're standing near the gate. And once it becomes 21, you're going to spam R1 as fast as possible so you can grab this gate. And if you can't do it, I would reset, but it's not a big deal if it happens. You lose like maybe 8 seconds. That's the first part of the run. But I'm going to teach you how to do quick rolling. So, you guys might be thinking, oh, if I just hold the roll stick forward and mash square, it'll make me go really fast. But it's hard to, but you have instances when you do this. And you don't want to do this because you want to like go around corners and stuff. So you want to roll square, roll square, roll square, roll square, and aim yourself. If you get quick enough, you can actually like navigate pretty fast. It's just like this. Just press square and roll in like a little bit of a rhythm, and you should be fine. You don't actually have to kill these guys. So we've opened the gate, yada yada yada. And you're gonna quick roll all the way over here. He's gonna punch, and you don't have to worry about anything. Just you have to cause that punch to happen. And you jump through this wall, climb up here, roll, and not miss. Roll, and then you'll go into this cutscene. And this is a little bit tough. This is Colossus 1. There's a lot of precise movement. You need to really, really, really go quick. Yes, what Adib just said in chat. That's what you need to do for the Challenge of the Titans. So now you're at this cutscene. And you're going to jump, and you're going to roll as quickly as possible. Well, fuck. I forgot to actually say something. So before you enter this place, you're supposed to equip the bow. Man, I'm all, like, off. How should I do this? I want to reset it. Because it just screwed my flow up when I was explaining it.
By defeating Ares, Kratos, the once mortal warrior, became the new god of war. However, Kratos soon found himself
gold armor and sandals. I don't know.
Shunned by his fellow gods.
Remember, you skip this cutscene, and then you land. And you just do Atlas Quakes up to this gate until your hit counter says 21. Usually the 21 count happens on the last kick of Atlas Quake. Usually. If you walk your way over there, if you're not too fast, it usually works. Sometimes it doesn't. See, like that happens and you miss it. It happens. It's kind of RNG because it's based on the movements of the soldiers, so it's good when it happens. It happens most of the time, but if it doesn't, I don't think it's a big deal. I would reset though. So you're gonna equip the bow before you go up here. You need to have the bow. You roll through here, and this cutscene is gonna play really fast, and you're gonna have to jump down and get to the catapult right here, and fire a bow, L2 plus triangle, and then fire the rock at him, all while doing this quick as fuck. And then you kill these two soldiers. And why is he attacking with that attack? Oh, Colossus, you strange. But anyway, after you kill the two soldiers here, generally speaking, he's gonna reach into that thing to grab soldiers and throw them at you. And while he's doing that, I just want to make him do it. Colossus, why are you being such a dick? He should reach in there. Generally speaking, every run, he should reach into that little alcove and throw soldiers at you. And while he's doing that, you're going to go over here and fire this. It's L2 plus circle, and then jump on top of this thing. And then when you're doing this, you don't want to do it too much. Because if you do it too fast, you'll shoot right through him. You got to wait for him to be fully stunned. So I just screwed that up just so I could show you guys again. You fire an L2 plus circle and quickly get on this thing. And it'll damage him. And you pull yourself back, and if you listen really closely, you can hear lightning. When it's about halfway through that lightning, that's when I do it all the way and fire. And this quick time event is really, really easy. It's just, you just mash square. And this next cutscene can be skipped. And then you're going to charge, because you don't need to do the sex minigame on this run. Not at all. Climb this ladder. Grab this. Grab this. About this point, you should switch to Atlas Quake, because you're going to need it for the next part. Open this. Quick roll to your destination. Maybe you'll get there as cleanly as I sometimes get it. Bigfoot comes down, throw it. Quick roll again, climb up here, climb twice, it should stun you. Climb again, climb to the left, it should stun you at the end of this. Go a little bit to the right and then up. And then this cutscene will play. And you're gonna do Atlas Quake. Atlas Quake, and then you're gonna switch quickly. Well, what the fuck, dude? Where's it gonna put me back to? You're supposed to do 2 Atlas Quakes. You'll do 2 Atlas Quakes, and while after the second Quake, you're gonna throw down 2 Cronus' Rage, and then jump on the swingy. You want to be the swing. So 2 Atlas Quakes. Switch to Cronus' Rage, pop 2 down, and swing. And try to switch to what the fuck, Colossus? Sometimes he pulls out of the hitbox. It doesn't happen that often, but sometimes he does. It does look easy. It's not that. It's not that easy though. So 2 Atlas Quakes. And you're gonna throw down 2 of these and swing. And while you're doing that, while you're swinging, try to switch to Atlas. Try to switch back to Atlas Quake just to save yourself an input. Because it's kind of confusing, especially at this part. So you're gonna go over and grab this. And this one is triangle, triangle, XX. All the Rhodes QuickTime events are all the same. So triangle, triangle, XX. And you'll pop off of here. You're gonna do Atlas Quakes again. You don't have to do Cronus' Rage this time, just 3 of them. What the fuck, Colossus? Why didn't you get hit? So you stun him again. You swing over here, grab it. And this is circle, circle, square, square. A lot of Rhodes. There's not too many tricks in Rhodes, but Rhodes can never be smooth, in my opinion. You can skip this next cutscene as well. I would just, if I don't have control of Kratos, I usually just smash X, honestly, because it'll skip the cutscene. Alright, while we're here, I could probably explain to you guys what, what's a good trick to explain to you guys? The most useful one I found is Poseidon's, the Poseidon breakout jump. So what you're gonna do is, the Urn of Poseidon actually replaces Cronus' Rage with Poseidon's Rage, and Poseidon's Rage is cool as fuck. So, when you launch yourself into the air, and use Poseidon Rage and turn off the urn, you can jump again. That's the only way you can. That's one of the 3 ways you can jump twice in this game. That's your best. That's one of the best, because Poseidon's Rage makes you resets your air momentum, so you get the highest jump. So it's an ascension into Poseidon's Rage, go into the menu, turn off the urn, and jump. Easy. This is such an easy jump. Compared to some of the other jump techniques in God of War 1, this one is so simple. I'm gonna use it for Lord, I'm gonna use it for skips and stuff. It's gonna be my, like, my cursor for the screen. You'll see. So again, you ascend, and you do Poseidon's Rage, turn off the urn, and jump again. That's one of the ways you can jump in this game. Another way is if you equip the Spear of Destiny and do an ascension, and wait for Kratos to start to drop. When he drops is when you go into the menu and switch sub-weapons, and you can jump again. What this is doing is breaking Kratos out of his state and going back to his neutral state, and in his neutral state you can jump again. That's the premise of it. I think it works with all sub-weapons that have an ascension. But you have to have Kratos falling for it to work. Easy. Now there's one other jump you can do that's a little bit more complicated, kind of, a little bit. This is called the Might of the Kings jump, or just the hammer jump, whatever you want. So what you're gonna do, this one's a little bit complicated to explain, but what you're gonna do if you want to practice is just ascend, just get a feeling for ascending. And what you're going to do at the top of the ascension is flick R2 to equip the hammer. Just like this. So the hammer should pop up out of his arm like some weird growth. I don't know where he gets it from. But you're going to ascend, press R2, and then you're going to press L1. And if you do it correctly, you'll do this. You'll pop up a little bit, and you're like, whoa, that's not a jump. That looks stupid. Ragnall, you're dumb. That looks like a dumb, stupid jump. That's probably what you're thinking. But if you go to the menu, you do this, flick, and press L1, and then quickly go to the menu. It's really fast. R2, L1's pause, and then switch through the weapons. And then exit the menu and press R2 and L1 again, and you'll rise up. Switch through the weapons. R2, L1. R2, L1. R2L1, etc., etc., etc. And you get really fast at it. And sometimes you do that. Do you see how I hit the ground like that? That meant I didn't press L2. I didn't press R2 fast enough. Yes, PO. I'm doing that. That's exactly how I'm doing it. So remember, you ascend. R2L1. Switch to the weapon. R2L1. Switch to your weapons. R2L1. 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 You get the idea. And after ascension like this, and you cycle through the weapons, you also break out so you can jump as well. So there's 3 different ways you can do jumps in this game, or high jumps per se. 3 different ways. And then there's the Atlas Quake Infinite Jump, which I find to be very difficult. A lot of people find to be very difficult, but we'll get into that another time. Let's move on though. Those are the gist of the high jumps you use a lot for the beginning of the game. You're gonna roll forward. Just do normal rolls. Don't worry about navigating. Just roll in straight lines, and then do an Atlas Quake here. Just to take these guys out because they can be fucking annoying. Move this cube over here. I'm gonna show you guys where to get the Urn of Gaia. Kick it. Now normally you'd be done, but sometimes this cube likes to troll. And I'm gonna show you guys where to get the urn. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's over here. I could probably just high jump to that. So you can practice your high jump when you're doing this. Yay. This could be urn. That could be the urn, and it's just giving me orbs because I've already gotten it. But I think it's there. I don't think it's over here. All right, so we did that cube puzzle, and we kicked it forward onto the switch. So you've kicked it onto the switch, it goes down, and then you just roll. And I like to do a Chronos Rage here because these guys can get fucking annoying, especially because there's RNG involved in their spawn point. So I just use Chronos Rage so I don't get screwed up pulling the switch. Yo, what's up, 2D? Now up here, when you get to the top, you're gonna switch to Chronos' Rage and roll forward and just spam it. It's the fastest way to make him go back. You're gonna land here, and there's gonna be a cutscene which you can skip with an X.
I do for the good of all Olympus.
Adib, I'm pretty sure that was the urn, that's why I dumped orbs. So you're gonna jump up here. Easy, and then roll forward with quick rolling. Controlled quick rolling, that's the term for it. And sometimes the guys won't hit you, the archers, but sometimes they will. Bust this open. Do a square and triangle to bust this down. And what I do is I go over here, do a Chronos Rage just to make these guys die. And this is like the first actual skip of the game. So normally you'd be going up here onto these raptors and going really slowly to walk across here to get to the top over there and go down the chain. But you can just do a simple Poseidon's Rage jump here to jump over this wall. It's like right about here, right where you meet this banister. You go to the menu, turn it off, and jump through. Easy. And these guys don't unload, so they'll continually fight, and you can hang out with them. So now that you did that, the camera is really fucked up. So the camera is not normally meant to be here. It's meant to be behind these soldiers, like kind of over here. So the camera would be facing, and you could see through this gate and what's up ahead. But because the camera angle is so fucked, you have to like kind of jump, kind of walk out and then jump. And hopefully, if you do it right and you're far enough through, the camera angle will change, and you'll be able to land and begin moving. Am I really good? I don't think I'm that good. I think I'm like losing my train of thought the whole time. So you open this gate. You walk out, jump twice, and then the camera angle should change and you should land. Now for this instance, you want to have Urn of Poseidon off, and you want to have the Blade of Olympus ready to go for this fight. So now you roll forward, and you're like, oh, okay. And then this plays, and then you're going to run up to the sword. Run up to the sword. Hopefully he doesn't attack. And you do Chronos' Rage. Because if you use Chronos Rage as that shockwave comes through, you'll be immune to damage. Just like this. But you're not supposed to. I'll show you. I'm just showing you guys the invulnerability frames you receive from it. So you roll forward. Now normally I would already have my sword equipped at this time, so I'm just switching it for the tutorial. So he does this weird move. You wait for him to attack, and then just hit him once, and then begin draining your powers. And then he'll do it again, and then you do it again. Chronos Rage and hit him with the sword. Slash, back to it. Now for this one, you need to go to the menu. What I do is I turn on the Urn of Poseidon, and I switch to the Spear of Destiny, because the Spear of Destiny is required for the high jumps within the Colossus. So you definitely need it. And what's up, Gnir? So you're draining your power into the sword, and you have the spear equipped, and you have Poseidon's Rage equipped, ready to go for the inner Colossus. But what you're going to do right now is Kratos is going to pull the sword out of the ground, and then it hit the Colossus in an animation, and it's going to say, you got this, the Blade of Olympus. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But once that happens, the camera is going to focus in on the hand, or focus in on the Colossus or something. You'll see what I mean. We'll just restart this. But the camera is going to focus not on Kratos. So you've gotten the Blade of Olympus, and what you're going to do is you're going to roll forward once, and then roll left once. Because the camera is reversed, it's really, really weird. But if you do it, if you do this correctly, It's a roll forward and a roll left, and then you're gonna mash R1. And if you do it correctly, Kratos will be off camera, moving and throwing the hand at the Colossus. So if you watch what I do, see I'm off because I had to pause between that. But I'll show you how it's done, and we can just go through this again. Bum, 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 bum. Remember, Chronos Rage, 1 slash, hold R1.
With your godly power
Trained into the blade.
it will have the strength to destroy all who defy the gods.
Now remember, this coming up, you go to the menu, switch to the Spear of Destiny, and turn on Urn of Poseidon. And right when you get the text box saying you got the Blade of Olympus, you're gonna roll forward once and roll left once, and mash R2 or R1. And you should do it off camera and throw that thing in his face, and that's it. That's Rhodes for you. If you made it to this point, you've gotten past Rhodes. Congratulations. You've actually escaped Rhodes. So you're gonna come through here, and right now, if you did everything before, you should have this equipped and Poseidon's Rage. You can also quick roll here. I'm not going to, because I don't want to. So this is your first high jump of the inner Colossus. You're gonna press and hold triangle, and it's gonna make you come up. And then you're gonna use Poseidon's Rage. Go to the menu, turn it off. What? Turn it off. And if you're close enough, which I don't know why I wasn't. If you're close enough, you can just jump right up here. And you can skip the first part of this whole thing. And you're gonna go back to the menu at some point on your way up here and turn Poseidon's Rage back on. It's a lot of menuing in this game. And this trick skips this whole balancing part, this next trick. So you're gonna come up here and jump, and then mash square to make yourself get to this location. So you're gonna hop up here, jump twice, and then smash square to land here. Easy. This is a very easy time save. Easy. Alright, this is another simple Poseidon's Rage high jump. So you just ascend, Poseidon's Rage, jump, climb up. And there's a small, tiny optimization here. Don't climb up here, just jump up here. And you don't have to do a jump or move at all. Normally, there's like 4 soldiers here. I don't know why they despawned, but I usually just kill the soldiers here when I get to the top here. Now, this next skip is pretty easy in principle, but it can get kind of tricky. So basically, you want to jump twice and do the square thing, but turn around at the same time. If you do it right, the knockback from this piece of shit, this glowy banister-looking thing, it's gonna knock you backwards and to that rope. So it's gonna skip this whole part. So you jump twice and then turn around, and it should knock you back into this part. I'm just gonna do it again to show you guys. No, stop climbing the rope. What? Come on, dude. Just let me go back. I don't like when I succeeded a trick and I can't do it again. Alternatively, you can turn Poseidon's Rage on. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Stop. Well, we're stuck back here, I think. Okay. Do you see how I turned around to make the knockback knock me backwards over this thing? That's what you want to do with this trick. That's exactly what you want to do. Jump twice and turn around and mash square. And that's a pretty easy skip. That's not that bad. So you're gonna climb this rope. This is one of your breaks. Hey, I get to use Frank Z. Nice. You're gonna climb this rope, this cool rope, and at a certain point, which I'll show with Franker Z, so like right around here, like right, the camera's moving and it looks really weird, but right around here, where Kratos is right now, is a perfect spot. What you're gonna do is when you reach this spot, you're gonna turn around and just double jump and do squares because it's good horizontal momentum. And you just go over here instead of climbing over there. Instead of going through this whole little mini platforming segment. Saves like 3 or 4 seconds. Now what you're gonna do here is the first thing you gotta do, first thing you need to do is climb this rope, or climb the ladder, what am I saying? And there's a loading trigger up here that you need to hit, or the next part of this game doesn't load. You're gonna fall down here, and you're going to do a Poseidon's jump. But this one's a little weird because of the camera angle. But it's never usually too big of a deal. I use this little fire right here. This is my indicator that I'm at the right position to start the ascension. Thank you, Franker Z. Okay. So right around this fire, right where I pointed out. That's it. And then you're gonna do pop 2 of these down so it breaks the chain. And stab that shit. Alright, now the Colossus is collapsing and you have to escape. But there's a certain little roll here that's hard to explain, but basically you want Kratos to be facing this direction when he leaves. When he leaves the mouth of the Colossus, he needs to be facing left. Or like the left corner, around like 10 o'clock on a clock. You know what I mean? So he needs to be looking in that direction when he exits it. And then you're going to wait for the cutscene to play. If I do this, it's going to checkpoint me, and I can't really explain it any further. But basically, you're going to let the cutscene play, and then once the cutscene is playing, you're going to hold your right roll stick at the 10 o'clock position and keep it there. And then skip the cutscene. It's very, very important that you skip it that way. You have to really play with this one. See, we were too slow because we were waiting. So you're going to run over here, and you're going to make Kratos be in the 10 o'clock position. Standing. Like, right? Do you see the angle he's at? And you wait. The cutscene will play. You're going to hold your stick in the 10 o'clock position and press X. And then Kratos is going to roll in the specified direction, hopefully, if we did it correct. But he should be off camera and like a few feet ahead. And this saves like 9 seconds. He rolled in the wrong way. I hate this skip because it causes a checkpoint here, and if you screw it up, you're done. You have to really play with this one to get it. You can find your own setup for it, honestly. But the mechanics of it is you can input a roll as Kratos hits the ground. And it'll take like 9 seconds off of this. I don't know why that didn't work. That was strange. What's up, Gabriel? You got a warm power? I have coffee. It's alright. So as you get closer to the sword, it's going to put you in a cutscene, which you can skip. But you don't want to mash X because you don't want Kratos to do any movements. You want Zeus to hit you as much as possible. Zeus needs to hit you 7 times to move forward. Submit. In this quick time event, you don't need to do anything. Just let him stab you, because he's going to stab you anyway. Using the quick time event actually makes it longer. And you can skip the cutscene after that as well. So remember to just mash X all the time, but not too much. You'll see what I mean. You'll find out which cutscenes are not mashable. And there's no real technique to this. Just get through it. You can one-shot each of these, so it's not too bad. There's some RNG because they could hit you, but it's not that bad. Climb up here, and now we're out of Hades and back in Rhodes for a little bit. now you're gonna just walk up here and press R1 and then view the best cutscene in the game.
My lord, I knew you could not be killed. I never lost faith.
Return to Sparta and prepare for battle.
But our brothers are dead.
You can still hold a sword. Spartans do not surrender. Do as your god commands.
And what of you, my lord?
Actually, coming up with this, when this cutscene ends, you're gonna gain control of Kratos, and the camera is gonna be like really slow. The camera is gonna pan backwards and turn towards the Pegasus, but you can still fully control Kratos. So what you're gonna do after this line, roll backwards once and roll left 3 times. 1, 2, 3, R1, and that's the most optimized movement to get to the Pegasus. Now this next cutscene can be skipped, so mash X.
Kratos, to succeed.
And the premise of this first Pegasus segment is you need to kill 4 griffins. And when you kill 4 griffins, the Pegasus sequence ends. What I like to do is just press triangle or just one triangle usually works. And don't do the circle. It takes way too long. So you kill the 2 first griffins, and then there's gonna be 2 more griffins that pop up next to you, and you need to kill them. And that's the way to progress this whole sequence. Kill this guy. Hopefully you don't get hit. Dash forward, kill this guy. And now what's gonna happen is a bird or something. I don't know what the fuck this thing's called. This bird's gonna charge into you, and you want to charge back, because this ends the minigame. This ends this whole sequence. Break that neck. Move on. And now it's gonna go into this guy will appear, and you're gonna go into a sequence where you're gonna have to dodge bolts, but you don't need to do that. There's actually one precise position. Just hold your stick at the 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock position, and you'll never get hit by these balls. You are no longer a god, Kratos. You'll never be hit if you hold in this position. You flick your stick a little bit, and then this is just rail. You don't need to kill the harpies in this spot. They're just extra. You can do anything you want. This is a rail. There's no tricks here. Agua. To enter this place. Also, the first Atlas Quake jump is coming up. Brand new to my run too. So we'll have to go through Atlas Quakes, the tutorial for Atlas Quake Infinite Jumps. It's gonna be kind of tough, but I'm sure who's ever reviewing this right now, you'll get through it. You'll learn. You'll be good. I believe in you. So now you get your Pegasus stuck here, and Kratos don't give a shit about this Pegasus, but you're gonna move, attack this with a square triangle, and you're gonna try to get on this wall as soon as possible. If you can get onto the wall and jump and like do the wall jump to the left, it's pretty optimized. It can't get any more optimized than that. You're gonna go down, and you're just gonna skip everything. Don't kill everything. Just go like this. You're gonna try to have to get, and sometimes you can get some bad RNG on this wall, and their transitions between planes can really fuck you up. Because if they transition to a plane while you're transitioning, it'll pop you off the wall, and you'll just die immediately. And sometimes they'll get you in a quick time event, which is always fun. But generally speaking, you want to just get off this wall as soon as possible. And you're going to do quick rolls. This is like your first test of quick rolling. You're going to equip Kronos' Rage before you get to this point. Pop this down, jump, and continue your quick rolls. And right now you should still have the Spear of Destiny equipped, so you won't have to do any menuing. So now for this part, what you're going to do is you're going to use a decently high jump with the blade of with the Spear of Destiny, because I find it to be the simplest and the fastest high jump. but it's not the highest, so it's deceptive kind of, but you'll know what I mean. So you're gonna equip the spear, do an ascension, wait for Kratos to drop, switch weapons, and jump again, and then jump up here, and that's it. That puzzle's solved. Slide down this rope. You're gonna roll forward and skip the cutscene and do a quake. I must burn in the fires of Olympus. One quake is usually good. It'll send him down there. Now you're gonna equip the bow, and you're gonna fire between the fingers. You should see Kratos will be like, and he'll start aiming down. You need to be like right here and press the bow, and you'll aim down, and you can fuck him up with arrow shots from this angle. You can skip this cutscene. Now this is the first Atlas Quake Infinite jump coming up, but I'm gonna kill these monsters just so we're not bothered while we're practicing it. Now when it's gonna give you a window that says you have acquired the Rage of the Titans, and right when you get out of it, you want to press and hold L2 and fire a bow, and if you're good, you'll shoot that thing up there just to save yourself a little bit of time. We're gonna kill these fuckers. Now normally I would run up here, ignore these guys, and do an Atlas Quake Infinite jump up to that spot and just continue, because it actually saves. It actually causes two monsters to not spawn on the chain, and it saves you a little bit of time. And it's faster in general. But let's go into Atlas Quake Infinite jumps. So the premise of Atlas Quake Infinite jumps is when you do an Atlas Quake, you can see Kratos kind of pop up when he does it. So the premise of Atlas Quake Infinite jumping is to cancel the full animation of Atlas Quake, so you just get the rise, but none of the rest of the animation. It'll cancel, and you can do it again. That's the premise. You want to use Atlas Quake to make yourself rise. So what you need to do to start an Atlas Quake is have a sub-weapon equipped, with Atlas Quake equipped, obviously. And what you're going to do for, just to start this out, you're going to do an Atlas Quake while pausing. Just press pause and Atlas Quake pretty much at the same time, but not that close. You'll see what I mean. You'll get the timing down. So I didn't even hit pause there. So did you see how Kratos' arm went just slightly up? That's pretty much a perfect Atlas Quake reset. So now you jump and press pause while doing Atlas Quake. Kratos should look like that. That's your visual. And you're going to switch to a weapon. Nothing in specific. It doesn't matter. And Kratos should look like that. If Kratos looks like that, you've gotten the gist. You've gotten the beginning down pretty well. Because Kratos is going back to his T state, because I don't think the game knows what to put him in. So this is not the jump. This is just the beginning. So now, if you're seeing this animation, you're definitely doing all the initial inputs correct. Alright, so now, when you've done exactly what I just said, and you've gotten that animation, and you seem like you know it, now we're going to do another cycle of Atlas Quake Infinite, of Quake Jump. So you're going to L2 and pause, and Kratos is going to look like that, and you're going to switch to a weapon, and then immediately upon exiting the menu, you're going to press square, L2, and pause again. That is the cycle of Quake jumping. So I'll switch to the hammer, and I'm going to press square, and then L2, and then pause again. Except I messed it up. I messed up the timing. Go to the menu, switch to a weapon, square, L2. Wow, that went really fast. What the fuck? Sometimes it'll die if you need to press square. Like, square is required to reload your weapon, so you can do another Atlas Quake cycle. And that's the gist of it. That's the only premise. You just got to get a rhythm down. All right, that's fine. That's the premise of the Quake Jump. And if you get the timing down, you'll start actually getting some height. Especially from the first jump. But you're at some point you're gonna start losing height. As every jump technique in this series is like. You'll start losing height. So what you want to do instead of losing height, you just want to jump again to reset your air momentum and just continue to cycle through this. And if you do it right, you'll pretty much stay in the air for a really long time. And you'll get some pretty nasty height too. So if you've been following, I'll do step by step again. You have a sub-weapon equipped with Atlas Quake ready to go. You're going to jump, pause, and L2 at the same time, pretty much. And Kratos will go, and then go through like a quarter of his animation. Switch to a weapon, unpause, square, do it again. I'm just explaining that the reason why it keeps dying is because I'm explaining it and I'm waiting too much. So it gets completely off. But you're gonna pause, switch to a weapon, square, pause again, and keep cycling, and you'll gain height. And if you want to do it again, if you want to continue, use X instead of square and just continue. This is what it should roughly look like. And you'll get really fast at it someday. Now if you've gotten up to this point and you have successfully performed an Atlas Quake Infinite jump or an Atlas Quake jump and successfully jumped into another cycle of Quake jumping, you have officially learned one of the hardest jump techniques of the series. Congratulations. I am proud of you. I'm proud of every single one of you who actually is able to do it. That's the gist of it. Now I'm not going to go into further in-depth explanation of how it works. You have to really just feel the jump out. So now this is the first jump of the game. So now you're going to do exactly what I said before. Equip the Blade of Olympus, or whatever you have equipped at the time, and Atlas Quake. And you're just going to do... not that, because I suck. Now, when you get up to certain heights, it's kind of hard to go over the hump to get in bounds. So you could you should switch to, what's it called? The Spear of Destiny to get yourself over that hump. But if you can't get it, there's more than enough height you can get from this jump. That'll let you over this wall. Come on, dude. What the fuck? I think it's just rust. Save now. Oh man, you motherfucker. I was just about to end it. So now you've had enough height. So now you're gonna do switch to the Spear of Destiny as your last weapon switch and spam and mash square, and it'll put you right over. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Not really. I'm just bad. And if you get up here, you're doing pretty well. Because you just skipped a fight and a tiny climbing sequence, and you're gonna cause the next enemies that spawn to be way less, and it's way faster. So when you first get Prometheus's Rage or Rage of the Titans, you're able to just shoot this from a distance. So this should be already down for you guys. Oh, what the fuck. So you're gonna climb this rope, and like right about, I think, like right here is where you should put Kratos, I think. Right here. Right along this line. And you can turn around and jump up to this ledge. It'll be faster. Just like that. You're gonna roll over here. It's a quick roll if you want to. You're gonna climb from this rope. And I like to put on Rage of the Titans just so I can get enough damage for this. And you're gonna do a triangle attack because you don't want these guys to touch you. Because if they touch you, they'll immediately put you in a quick time event that's 10 seconds. It's not fun. You can pop down here, ignore these guys, take down this door like you do casually, and turn this off because I believe it lags the game. So, quick roll continually. Take this. Take that grapple point up. Continue quick rolling. Try to do it better than I'm doing it. Come up here, and now we're gonna progress back to the hand, and you're gonna use Rage of the Titans. The only reason why we have Rage of the we get Rage of the Titans, the only reason why we're honestly here is to get Rage of the Titans. We don't even need to go to Typhon. The road back, the climb back here is not that bad. And you're gonna climb up here and go to the right once. Put on Atlas Quake, or put on Rage of the Titans and use Atlas Quakes. It's the fastest way to make these 4 fingers come up. You just do that, and you're done with Typhon. You are done with Typhon. Now the second Pegasus sequence is a little bit different than the first one. You have to kill all the harpies that appear. And the birds that bash into you and cause you to go into a quick time event, you don't need to kill them. And there's a way to dodge them by pressing R1 at a specific time. So I'll show it to you when we get into it. Right when you are able to, dash forward. But don't dash too much. And skip this cutscene. Nothing really much here. It's a rail. It's whatever. Now, I think, yeah, this bird's going to come in and try to bash you. So you got to wait until he's fully charged and do R1 to dodge him. And then once you've dodged him, fire these bolts at these harpies. Because all these harpies that spawn need to die before you progress. What I do is triangle techniques. Because I think triangle techniques are the fastest. Because it's like shooting, it's like attacking in a line and you're kind of like moving up and down, hitting everything. And once you've killed every harpy, these 2 griffins will spawn. But don't dash forward, wait for this guy to come. And then go for the... That was weird. Normally you're not supposed to be able to... You're supposed to auto-bash into that guy. That's alright. So now you've killed 2 griffins, and now another bird's going to appear, and you're going to have to dodge that too. Just like that. And attack this one. And attack this one. And then you're done. That's it. That's the second Pegasus sequence. Now the second Pegasus, like going at an angle through and dodging these fireballs. Well, okay. For this sequence, it's not about dealing damage to him, it's about creating distance. You need to go distance. You need to go a certain distance before this minigame ends. So right when you're able to, dash forward. And try to avoid dashing into him. Like go to the right and dash. And if he's on your right, go to the left and dash, etc. And it takes about 5 dashes for this to work. And once you have created enough distance, you're just done. And now for this sequence, you're going to get hit if you hold this angle, but it really doesn't matter in my opinion. I don't see a point of getting out of this. This is meant to be my break, so I'm not going to put as much effort into this. But you're going to get hit, no matter what. I think it's the next one after this. Well, I didn't get hit. That's strange. But generally speaking, hold the same position as you did in the first Pegasus sequence. Alright, this time, right when he shoulder bashes you, I go to the menu and turn on the Urn of Poseidon and switch to the Spear of Destiny. Yeah, switch to the Spear of Destiny. And you're going to go into a quick time event that's really easy here. stab this bird. R.I.P. bird. Bible thumps in chat. It's just the time I picked. Not. It doesn't matter as long as you do it before you reach the next trick. Now this is just a quick time event. Just press a button when it appears. I like to split here. This is a good split because it's like a cliff. I don't know. So you're gonna climb up here, the Temple of Lachesis. Just press X to do it as fast as possible. Obviously, I'm sure you got the gist of fast climbing techniques just from climbing for 2 seconds. No, you'd have to switch at some point to Poseidon's Rage and the spear. You just need to have it ready. Should I save? No. So what you're gonna do for this staircase is I go up here and I keep jumping like this until I reach this point and I just walk up, because I think the animation for jumping up here takes longer. The actual jump itself, the actual quick jump, takes longer than walking up there, because you'll hit the ceiling faster. You'll see what I mean when you do it. Now this next trick, oh boy, this will take you a while to learn. This took me a really long time to learn. So basically, have your spear ready to go and your Poseidon's Rage ready to go, and you're gonna go up to this wall, do an ascension, Poseidon's Rage, just like a normal Poseidon's Rage jump, because I didn't have the right angle. Dogs, stop. These doggos are gonna want to interrupt me. They don't interrupt. They go to a certain point, but they're not gonna interrupt you. And then jump up to this little piece of collision up here, and then what you're gonna do is equip the spear, and then press circle to false grab. If you false grab correctly, you'll pop down to the lower level, and now you're still out of bounds. And what you're gonna do is, this camera angle is really bad, but you want to get into this water surface that's directly in front of you, so you can swim. So if you jump outwards and then do square techniques, square moves, you should find yourself in that water, at least at some point. So remember, equip the spear, press circle to false grab, drop down, jump out, and try to get into this water. Hopefully you get the better camera angle change, where the camera goes to your behind you, like over here. The camera's here. But if you don't get the right camera angle, you'll find out how to get it really quick. You gotta kind of feel this trick out. See, like that camera angle, and then you hit this water surface, and now you can swim. This is, once you get this down, it's actually a really simple skip. So again, do an ascension, Poseidon's Rage, turn it off, jump, equip the spear, press circle, and then try to jump into this water without clipping back in bounds. And this water surface is a very thin line, so you might find yourself like going through it and not wondering how you're not hitting the water surface, but you just gotta play with it. And then you hit that water surface and you can swim. Pretty fucking easy, in my opinion. Yeah, you gotta feel it. So one more time. Ascension, Poseidon's Rage, turn it off, jump, equip the spear, press circle, drop down, and now try to jump into that water surface the best you can while using square moves to like keep yourself from dropping, so you can kind of aim yourself into it. See what I mean? Once you get a feel for it, it becomes really easy. So now we've done the swim glitch. We've now done it. I don't know why I went back in bounds though. So now you've swim glitched. This camera angle is terrible. It was too low. Yeah, I like to swim. The most common issue I find is popping in bounds because I've jumped too high. But once you feel this one out, it won't be a problem. you hit this water surface, you go down a little bit, but be careful, you don't want to clip and bounce to the lower area. And you're going to go over here, and you're going to pop in here, and you're going to hit this bush, because this is where the loading trigger is. The bush is the loading trigger. And you're going to fly up here, swim, sorry. And you're going to clip in through here, and charge right through here, right through these two things. And then down. And then you're gonna touch the surface so the water, so the music turns off. Once the music turns off, you know you've hit the loading trigger for the next area. So in repeat. Ascend, Poseidon's Rage, turn it off, jump, equip the spear, circle, jump into it. Now you're in the water state, go over here. Hit this bush, so you know you hit the loading trigger. Come up. Clip through this wall. Swim dash through here. And go down. Touch this surface. And if that music stops, you know you hit it. And then you're gonna swim up here. And the camera should be perfect. And you need literally just descend into this water. And now you're done the first swimming glitch. Congratulations. Easy. It might not. We'll be close though. No, we'll be close. Nice doggos. So again, let's remember here. Hit this specific bush. Climb up, swim up here. Go over here. Wait for the camera angle to change. Hit this floor. Music stops. You swim up here and drop. And hit the water surface and end swimming. For now. There's another swim glitch. You don't have to kill these guys. But what you're gonna do next, I'm gonna show you two options here. If you are really, really good at the Atlas Quake Infinite jump, you guys stop it. Stop it. Once you've landed and gotten out of the water segment, you're going to switch to this, pop this down so those guys don't fuck with you. Equip Atlas Quake and the spear. Go into your menu, turn on Urn of Poseidon, and you're going to Atlas Quake Infinite jump. Let's go up here. And then once you get to this gray area, you can kind of just drop and you'll grab this ledge. Now switch to the spear, and you're gonna walk like a few steps to the 10 o'clock direction. Kratos, the direction Kratos is facing right now. This is not completely blind. So you're gonna face this direction, walk a little bit, and then double jump and use square techniques to glide yourself over to a certain location. I should definitely explain. I should definitely explain long jumping. That might be. That might be pretty good. I just want these guys to die so I can practice long jumping. Okay. You motherfucker, dude. Let me explain. Alright, long jumping in this is basically this. But you can see that Kratos starts to lose height after a while, as usual. Because that's the way air momentum works in this game. So what you're going to do is do a Poseidon's Rage near the end of it as you're losing height, turn it off, and jump again and continue on. And that's the basic long jump of this game. What's up, Lord? Just like this. See, this gives you like a really nice amount of horizontal momentum. But that's the basic long jump. Now this is the one that's a little bit tougher, and it's the frame difference is way harder. So basically, when you're doing this, instead of doing just a Poseidon's Rage like that, try to hit pause and then L2, and you should do the initial frames of Poseidon's Rage, and you'll see what I mean. See, like Kratos will curl up into a ball if you get it good, and you just switch between your weapons. And I wasn't fast enough. Whoa. It's too slow again. This one, the frame, you don't have a lot of frames to do this. It's one of the tightest tricks in the series. Like that's what you need. Where Kratos just barely starts the Poseidon's Rage animation, and then you're switching between the weapons. Don't turn off Poseidon's Rage. But if you do it correctly, you'll get the air momentum reset from the Poseidon's Rage. But you won't have to turn off Poseidon's Rage. So you can, and it extends your jump by a certain amount of feet. This one's a tough one to learn, honestly. It basically, Poseidon's Rage makes your horizontal air momentum really, really good. If you do it correctly. Yeah, the world record's done. RIP. And that can further lengthen your jump. And that's the fastest way. That's the best way to elongate your horizontal momentum, by continually resetting it with Poseidon's Rage. Okay. Any other long jump that I need to think of? No. Those are the two long jumps that you'll know right now. Later on, there's going to be another one, but it's not going to be that bad. Swim glitch as usual. You guys know how to do this. I know you guys know how to do it. Now that if you've been watching this tutorial, I'm pretty sure at this point you're pretty much a master of the game. Like pretty much, yeah, a master. Swim down here, hit this loading surface, make the music stop, climb up here, drop. And that's it. And you're gonna lay down a Kronos Rage. Because fuck those assholes. Switch to Poseidon's Rage. Switch on Poseidon's Rage. Have Atlas Quake ready. And have your spear out. And then do an Atlas Quake infinite jump. Equip the spear, because you're gonna need it. Equip Poseidon's Rage. And now you're gonna walk forward a few steps. And jump. And do this, and then do Poseidon's Rage, reset, jump, and continue to do the square moves. And if you keep doing it, you'll land in this little thing. And if you're really good, the dialogue won't start, but it's like right back here.
The steeds of time, a gift from the great Titan Kronos. His unsuccessful attempt to gain the favor of the Sisters of...
Hopefully they didn't checkpoint me here. It'd be nice. Because I want to show you guys the other alternative if that's really, really tough for you. There's an alternative to this trick. I'm pretty sure there's this alternative can be used by anyone. It's really easy. Do you guys remember that swim glitch was hard? Because I don't. Bum 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Swim over here. Drop. Sometime, and then there's like a nice fucking wall here, so you gotta go up a little bit if you miss this. Up and down. Show you guys the alternative. So if you don't want to do an Atlas Quake infinite jump, or you think it's too difficult, there's an alternative for this. But it's slower, as per usual. This cutscene will always play no matter what. I don't think there's a way to skip it. Goodbye, world record. Yes, it's gone. So you're gonna jump up here, climb this chain, come up here, and if you do this correct, you're gonna clip into this little piece of surface. I haven't done that here. You'll clip in here, drop, You know, start running. I haven't done this in forever, so expect me to screw this up. What are you doing? So if you clip in, if you clip through that wall a little bit, Kratos will clip through and be able to jump through the wall to the other side of that thing. You gotta kind of play with it. The power is getting cold. I'm still drinking coffee. I don't think I'm gonna be drinking it though. You gotta kind of wait until Kratos drops a little bit before jumping. It's kind of weird. You gotta play with it. It's not that bad of a skip though.
The steeds of time.
The steeds of time. Alright, so just quick roll across this chain. There's a camera angle changing like right here. Right here. It's not too bad though. It won't really screw you up. Yes, sour please. Alright, no real tricks coming up really, and except right after this little climbing segment. You're gonna want to need your Spear of Destiny equipped for this. So you're gonna go on this box and you're gonna do this. And break out, switch your weapon. It doesn't matter what you switch to. Just break out of it so you can jump again. And now you skip to Theseus. And I think Kronos. I could be wrong though. But I know you definitely skip Theseus. And because the game is so nice to you, the game's going to give you the Horse Keeper's Key. And there's no techniques with this puzzle. You just got to kind of do it. I find this to be the most boring part of the run. It doesn't show up in the stream, on the stream or in the chat, because I don't know why it doesn't appear in chatty. Anyway, just do this puzzle. It's really not that bad. But the order I do these things, these cranks are inwards and then outwards. So do the green and then red, or the red then green, and then the yellow and then blue. Just make sure you do the inward cranks before the outward cranks. It's very important, because you can't do the outward cranks without the inward cranks being done already. Because if you do the inward cranks, the harpies spawn, and you need them to be there to do the outward cranks. And sometimes the harpies will give you a damage boost to the ground, but sometimes they don't. It's not a big deal if they don't. Also, when you're swinging from ropes or swinging from grapple points, I think jumping at the, like, a little bit past the middle is faster than doing it all the way, because you'll lose a little bit of momentum if you swing all the way before jumping. So you like want to. It's like centrifugal force in real life. That was a terrible one because I had no centrifugal force, no weight behind it, so that's why it looked weird and it was way shorter. But if you jump off the thing while you're moving really quickly, it'll carry over to your trajectory after. Like that. You'll see what I mean when you play with it. Basically, just jump off the grapple point before reaching the other end of the grapple swing. No. Why did you do that? You're gonna jump back to this and jump back. And you have to do this minigame, unfortunately. This quick time event. Yeah, God of War 3, no. No. I don't know that game that well. I know this game very well. There's kind of a pattern to that. Generally speaking, with the first the first full swing of your stick, like the first full turn of your stick in place, the next one is usually the opposite direction. Now there's two ways of doing this, but I don't recommend the first version. I recommend my version. No offense to Akion, of course, but I don't recommend this other one because it's a very meticulous, easy to screw up high jump or long jump, and I don't really particularly like it. But what you're gonna do is come over here, have Atlas Quake ready with your sub weapon. Just get ready to do a Quake jump. Switch to, you can switch to any weapon. See, I'm not thinking. What you're gonna do is do a Quake jump here. And once you get high enough, you're gonna switch to the Spear of Destiny and do circle techniques, and you should land on a surface. And you can just jump right over this gate and skip the fight. It's pretty easy in my opinion. Not too hard. This tutorial is probably gonna go way faster now that I've explained like 65-75% of the jump techniques. I'm hopeful that who's ever watching this video is still on the ball and still understands what I'm saying. It is. The trilogy run is in 2 days. You're gonna throw down a Chronos Rage to destroy that block, so you don't need to do it while you're hanging. Now, normally you would think that this is where Swim Glitch is, so this is where you can just stop playing, or not really stop playing, but you can literally progress through the game because you can get Swim Glitch here. But you have to get the Amulet of Fates. It's impossible not to get it. You have to get it. So come over here, kick this door. Basically, just play the game until you get the amulet. Pull this back like normal. I'm going to. Swim down here. Charge. Swim up. I have no idea. I think it was Tyler Bates. Get the Amulet of Fates. I think it's called the Amulet of Fates. Yeah, it's the Amulet of Fates. Because Gaia loves to say, the Amulet of the Fates. With this relic, the Amulet of the Fates. So it's very important that you get this Amulet of Fates, or the run can't be finished.
The relic that you hold, an amulet of the Sisters of Fate.
So now normally,
allow you to move swiftly through time while all around you slows.
Normally you would do this dumb puzzle where you have to slow down time and stand on this, but you don't need to do that. You can just do a simple high jump to do this. I prefer to use Poseidon's Rage breakout. I think it's a very trustworthy high jump, so I prefer to use it in that case. That's a very easy jump. Now that we have the Amulet of the Fates, we can do the Swim Glitch. The second, much larger Swim Glitch. Much longer, too. So now I'm going to teach you guys 3 different methods to doing this Swim Glitch. You guys can use whatever you wish. So there's a piece of collision that's right here. That's really, really faulted. It's really odd looking, but it's pretty good. It's definitely it's the person that discovered this. I don't know how they discovered it, but they did. But basically, when Kratos rolls, he becomes smaller. Like his whole frame becomes smaller, so he can fit into flawed collisions. So if you go to a certain point over here, it's very precise. It's angle perfect. If you go in a specific spot, I don't know the spot by memory, but I can just keep trying until I get it. But if you roll at a certain angle at that certain spot, you'll clip into the floor and begin swimming. Someday. This is why I don't use this skip during my run. Because this is gloriously inconsistent. It's just, I hate doing this. There's so much wasted time if you don't first try it. Come on, dude. Just show the fucking audience how to do this. Yes, 2,000 years later, I finally get it. Come on, dude. It's been a while since I've actually done this myself. Generally speaking, I like to... Do you see Kratos' left foot? That's on this little hill. If you get close enough, it'll start pointing down. That's generally speaking, you have the right distance from the spot, but it doesn't mean you have the right angle. Come on, dude. Just show the audience. Oh my god, dude. Dude. Come on. Oh my god, Kratos. Just get it once. I just want it once. Now, if that happens, that specific animation happens where he clips into it, it means that you were really, really close to clipping into it. See, I did it twice. So if you get that little weird clip, it means that you're really, really close. But you actually didn't make it. Kratos. There we go. So now I hit the specific little flawed collision and Kratos popped into it. So now I can swim. Hooray. That's one way to get the swim glitch, if you want to take forever to do this run. But it's not my preferred method of doing it. Not at all. It's very inconsistent. So, I'll show you the other method. There's two other methods that this method I used to use. So basically you have Poseidon's Rage ready to go. And what you're going to do is you're trying to get outside of this this wall and swing inward and hit this surface of water. This is at least more consistent, but at the same time a little bit more risky. And if you really, really want to be safe, especially on your first run, I would definitely recommend going to the save point and putting a trigger here, a checkpoint. Definitely recommended. Because if you fall, the game will reload you at when you got the Amulet of Fates, which is like a minute and 15 seconds lost. So now, with this glitch, you want to go over here, and you want to jump once and do square inputs to swing through the air to move yourself kind of around this invisible wall. If you hit it right, you go like here, and then you're going to do a Poseidon's Rage just like the other jumps. Jump and swing yourself around here, quickly go to the menu and turn Poseidon's Rage on, and completely screw it up because you suck. That's why we checkpointed. Gotta make sure you have Poseidon's Rage, because now you can reset your momentum and not clip into the water because I was too high. I don't prefer this method either. Of course, we clipping again. That's why I do not do this skip anymore. Oh, we clipped in. This is another one I do not recommend. But I'm just showing it to you because if you have options, if you prefer this skip better than the other one, I can't yell at you for using this one, so I'll at least show it to you. See? Not that easy. Definitely not easy. I would definitely not do this during a run. But if that's your thing, then by all means do it that way. So that's the second method of getting swimming here. Now the third method, the preferred method, the one that I use. So now what you want to do is get high enough with Atlas Quake Infinite jumps to get behind this collision and hit this water here. But you have to keep in mind the water cuts off right behind this surface, this stone surface thing. So it's very easy to miss, but it's not that bad. It's definitely not as bad as the other tricks. So you Atlas Quake Infinite jump and screw it up. You have to screw it up during the run just like I do. That's lag. If your blades pop out just like that, you can probably go back in the video to see it, but if your blades pop out like that, it means you're moving a little bit too quick. And I like to have the Urn of Poseidon on as a backup to this strat, because it's very easy to lose yourself out of bounds. So immediately when you've clipped behind this wall, have your Spear of Destiny ready and mash square backwards into the wall so you clip into the water. That's your primary objective. So you're gonna spam this, and if you feel like you're not gonna hit the surface, use Poseidon's Rage and cancel it and continue doing it, and you should hit the surface. That's a backup strat. Using Poseidon's Rage is a backup strat. So once you've hit that piece of surface, you're good to go. That's all you need to do for that skip. And I much prefer it, and I would recommend you learning this one. So I'll go through it again. And I hit the surface, thankfully. I don't really think I actually made it, but I actually did. But always have Poseidon's Rage ready to go, just in case things go sour with the jump. Every time. Because if you fall behind that thing, you're going to lose 1 minute and 15 seconds if you didn't checkpoint here. It's very important. See? Easy. Now you go from here and just shoot forward. And now we're in this spot. And now you have to be very, very, very careful with what you do with this next. Because if you hit the fingertips, you could soft lock your game. So you want to go as much into the palm as possible. And then dip down and cause the cutscene to trigger. Skip it, and now you're good. Now you're going to swim up real high until you feel yourself clip through. Now you're on the other side, and now you're going to go down. You're going to swim through these buildings. It's very quiet, because no music really loaded. Swim down here. Now you're down here, and this is important, because you need to hit a loading trigger here, and if this is a perfect example of a Frankerzy I can use. So now you've reached this point, and you need to load the next area past this point, because everything is deloaded over here. So there's a specific loading point you need to nip. So you're gonna go right here, swim up so you hit this little piece of collision. And if you do it right, it should make Kratos go like that. And you've hit the loading trigger. And a good indication that he hit the loading trigger is when he goes into his T-pose. Because the game puts Kratos in a T-pose if it doesn't have a swimming animation loaded for the next area. So if you understand what I'm saying, when you see Kratos enter that state, it means you've successfully hit the loading trigger for the next area, because it loaded you into the next area, and it doesn't have a swimming animation, so it puts him in the T-pose. That's why some people say that Kratos surfs in this run. It does look like he surfs. It's because of that reason. When you see Kratos enter that pose, it means that you successfully loaded the next area. Sometimes this doesn't appear, you just gotta kind of swim around to try and load it. But remember, go to here and swim up to this point, and Kratos will enter Jesus mode. Now you're gonna swim this way, and swing around. And go back here. You have to swim back here for the loading trigger of the next area. Swim forward. If these guys spawn, it's a good indication. If those monsters spawn, it means that you hit the loading trigger. Swim over here, and you're not going to go through this door, through this entryway above this ladder, because it'll cause a cutscene to play. So you're going to swim through the ceiling. So you're over here. You're going to swim over this thing. A little bit higher, because it's easy to catch the invisible wall here, and you're going to touch this floor, and then Kratos will enter this state because you hit the loading trigger. Keep swimming forward. Swim over here. Ignore those guys, they can't do shit to you. Swim around this corner. Go up a little bit so you don't hit this lip of this little puzzle. You're going to swim across really far, all the way to this little piece of surface over here. You'll know you're close because the R1 prompt is going to light up. So now when you're over here, you have to press this surface. You have to hit the surface to load the next area. And Kratos will be in its T-pose until the end of the swim. So you swim across the chasm, and hopefully you get a good camera angle. You can get like one of 3 camera angles. One that's really close up to Kratos, the medium distance camera, which is what I have now, and the long distance camera, which is what you don't want. If you get the long distance camera, it's not a big deal. You can still survive the swim. It's whatever. And just keep swimming in this direction. Everything seems deloaded and weird, but everything's going to start loading in a second, and you're going to start seeing your way. So now everything else loaded because you reached that area, and you're going to swim up and down. And now you're going to fight Icarus. Skip this cutscene. Now it's very, 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 very important that you get these joystick turns perfect. If you don't do this on the first try, it screws the entire thing up. You need to get this. So basically, now that Kratos is swimming, he actually kind of broke out of this Icarus minigame. So what you're going to do is switch to the hammer. And Kratos is floating. He's currently on top of Icarus while Icarus is dropping. It's really hard to explain. But just equip the hammer like this and hit him just once. If you hit him any more than that, he'll become overhealed, or his counter for his hit points will go to infinite. So hit him once with the hammer. It's very important that you hit him once with the hammer, and then grab him and end the minigame. It should take 4 punches. I don't really think it matters if you pass or fail this minigame. It doesn't matter.
Wait, perhaps the
Rip off his
sisters are sent to
wings.
help me. I realize now.
Skip this cutscene. When you climb up this thing, Atlas is gonna go,
The Sisters' Temple is far
And welcome to
above
Atlas,
Kratos.
one of the hardest parts
You
of the
must
runs.
Get back to the surface.
Atlas will say good luck by going, Alright, this is nothing. Just climb up here. Now, there's a new thing we have called the Wings of Icarus, which makes your horizontal momentum, like, amazing. You can float to anywhere you want, and it's really good. And it'll definitely be involved for a lot of skips, so just get ready. You can roll. You can quick roll here, you don't have to. It's not a huge deal, because there's not a lot of surface to roll. So play this normally. And also, I gotta explain to you guys what actually the Wings of Icarus actually do for you as well, because they're actually very useful for just normal high jumps. I'm gonna kill these guys and explain. Are they still living? What the fuck, dude? Harpy, stop. Alright, that should be it. Okay, so the new functionality with the Wings of Icarus is now you can do an X button ascension, which means hold L1 and press X, and you'll do this flat. it'll make you shoot up. And it has no gravity. It ignores gravity. So if you're on the surface, the Kratos will never drop. He'll just walk across the surface with no gravity. It's extremely useful and one of the best things that this game can offer to you. So now that you have this ascension, you can actually do launches with the hammer equipped, which makes doing this very, very easy. So, yeah, the Wings of Icarus really do help. You can use Kronos' Rage to knock this down. Now, normally you would have to bring this out and then bring it back in to get to the next area, but you can just do a hammer jump for this. Now, before you enter the next area, make sure your Urn of Poseidon is on and your hammer is equipped. Now, this is like a little mini boss, but you don't need to fight it. You can just skip. Now, skip to your Spear of Destiny, so you have it ready for the next trick. Now, I'm going to trigger this cutscene, but normally you don't have to trigger this cutscene. I'm going to show you guys how to do this without the cutscene. So now this is one of the most complicated jumps. This can go bad very, very easily. Very easily. So what you're going to do is you're going to jump once and do these attacks all the way over to a certain point, and then you're going to do a Poseidon's Rage breakout. Not the one where you turn this on and then turn it off and jump again, but this one. The one where you cast it very early and continue to do this. That's what you want. Also, there's a thin line going across the surface where if you nip it, you're going to cause the cutscene to load. So you have to be as far right and as far forward as possible to not hit the cutscene. So now, I'm going to show you. This is a Poseidon's breakout jump. So basically, I'm going to go like this. And you can actually turn off Poseidon's Rage and actually make this. So that is the jump. You skip getting the cube into the water or whatever and then riding it and the whole cutscene. So in repeat, or in summary, jump, do these attacks, do the Poseidon's Rage breakout, not the urn reset. If you do it right, you should break out and be able to jump again without turning off Poseidon's Rage or Poseidon's Urn. And it makes this jump a little bit longer and a little bit more safer. So you don't even cast Poseidon's Rage once. And then you hit this little grapple point and you're moving on. You can destroy this rock however way you wish. Moving on. We're almost halfway through Atlas. Now this part you're going to equip the hammer because you're going to do another high jump. Now you're going to do an Atlas Quake here to destroy the rocks. And I'm actually going to show you guys where to get the urn, in case you guys need to know where it is. I think it's over here. Nope, 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 nope. Well, that's not good. I didn't really want to trigger that cutscene. What? What the fuck? Did I just jump into that? That's strange. Whatever. I don't like how my checkpoint's there, though. I might have to reload the game. It's the first rock spike. Okay, thank you, P.O. Oh, this is the one I normally go to. Is it really right here? Yeah, it definitely was here, because that dumped orbs on me. So this would be where your Urn of Prometheus is, right here. Normally enemies are not supposed to be here, but I spawned them because I'm dumb. So now you're gonna go up here. Now normally during a run you come here too. So you use Atlas Quake to destroy the rock spire that's here, and you go over here, and you go into here, and you climb onto this first chest and do a hammer jump. You can do 2 cycles of the hammer jump, and you should have enough height. And then select the Spear of Destiny and jump and glide over to here. And you should go through the wall and right to this point. And also this will checkpoint you here. Now this trick is very, very extensive. Okay. So what you're gonna do, there's a certain property with the way that the wings work in this game. If you hold X and walk off of a ledge, it'll give you 2 jumps. It's a weird glitch. I'll just show you at the bottom here. So if you hold X while walking on a surface, you can glide and then do a double jump. You can do a full 2 more jumps. The game acts like you're on a surface, so you can jump twice. See, I'm not supposed to normally be able to jump twice after a glide. But if you hold X while walking off of a ledge, you'll do a glide. It's called an extended glide jump. I forget the name of it. But now you can glide around and jump twice. So this is very useful for high jumps because it really extends high jumps. Or long jumps, actually. This is great for long jumping. Stop it. Okay, so now before you go down here, you're going to equip your spear and Poseidon's Rage. And this is a little bit complicated, so bear with me. So when you glide down, you're gonna go off the level, that little pendulum thing, and you're gonna have your 2 jumps ready to go. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I like to do a Poseidon's Rage, just so I can get the X input to hold it down. Because if you press X at any point, you'll jump. So do a Poseidon's Rage so you glue yourself to the ground, if you get what I'm saying. So now you have X. Now you're running around with X. And equip your spear and go off the side. And glide right here and do a Poseidon's Rage. And then turn it off and you're going to jump and mash square. So you do this. And that's just the first part. I'm just going to go step by step. No, I didn't want to turn that off. You're gonna glide off here while holding X. Do Poseidon's Rage, turn it off, jump. When you start dropping, press Chronos Rage. Do the same way you would do Poseidon's Rage, but with Chronos Rage. Just cast it and then press pause. Now turn the Urn of Poseidon on and then you can jump again. And continue with this stuff. And if you're good, you'll reach that surface on the side and you'll skip the whole puzzle here. This is one of the toughest tricks to explain, honestly. Just remember holding X, walking off, doing Poseidon's Rage, turning it off, jumping, pressing square, pressing Chronos' Rage, turning the Urn of Poseidon back on, jumping again, doing Poseidon's Rage, and then gliding. It's kind, I don't know. You gotta like really feel this one out. So you're holding X, you walk off the side, you do Poseidon's Rage, turn it off, jump, Chronos Rage, switch to the menu, turn it back on, Poseidon's Rage, turn it off, glide into the spot. Easy. At least I think it's easy. So now we're up to the last major trick of Atlas. This one is a very, very complicated long jump. And this was my biggest hurdle in getting world record, is learning this jump. So now I think there should be a checkpoint trigger here. So now it's the same premise as the previous trick, except you're gonna have Urn of Poseidon on, of course. And just watch how I do this. You're gonna wait till that swings all the way to the left, and then do another Poseidon's Rage. Jump. Do a Chronos Rage. Jump. And you're gonna do a Poseidon's Rage breakout, not the Urn breakout, but Poseidon's Rage breakout, the one that's really quick, that doesn't require the usage of turning off the urn. And that'll extend it a little bit, and you do Poseidon's Rage, turn off, glide in. Done. And this skips the lower part with all the enemies, and you have to turn and rise the pendulum or something. I don't know, it's weird. So again, you should remember to turn on Poseidon's Rage like I don't do. Because usually I have Poseidon's Rage equipped at this time. Yes. You glide off. Poseidon's Rage. Jump square. Chronos Rage. Jump. How did I screw that up? Once you get this the first time, you'll be like, oh, I get it. Don't worry. I have faith in you, my loyal viewer. Oh, I screwed it up. Let's see if it still works, though. Nope. The Poseidon's Rage breakout is very, very important for this jump. Not the urn breakout, but the breakout. And that's it. I don't really know how to explain this any further. You gotta kind of just feel this out. You gotta use your superior knowledge of horizontal momentum and Poseidon's Rage canceling to really get this. But I'm sure you will get it. You just need to practice. But this is this jump is one of the single hardest tricks in the game. So if you can learn this, you can learn anything else. Also, be really careful when you're jumping between these things, because it's very easy to do that. And if you die, you have to do this trick again. So be very, very careful with those pendulums jumping between them. What I like to do is just hold X so I can do the double glide jump. It's just extra safe. Yes, Kale. That's I guess definitely that's how it seems. I feel like I'm making sense. I'm trying to make sense to you guys, or the people viewing this video. I'm trying, man. I mean, you guys, I think you guys will get it though. Remember, I didn't have a tutorial for this. So what you're going to do is use Poseidon's Rage. Not Poseidon's Rage, Rage of the Titans. Is it going to put me all the way back? Okay, so climbing this is relatively normal, honestly. It's not that bad. I put Poseidon's Rage. I put Rage of the Titans on just for fun. Now I do 2 squares to knock this thing down, because it's faster than triangles. Now what you're going to do over here, the game wants you to go up here. And it'd be like, oh, I'm going to take my time and then drop. But you don't actually have to do that. You can just go here, jump backwards, and still hit the point. So, swing like this normally. The ascension of Atlas is really trickless, honestly. Now this small trick coming up is very easy. Just do a spear breakout. Very easy. Remember to wait for Kratos to drop a little bit before jumping. Before doing the switch in the menu. You have to wait for for Kratos to drop. Because if you do it too early, it just won't work. It'll just switch you back to the blades and you won't be able to jump. So you have to be, it has to be on his descent. What I like to do is equip the blade of Olympus because it's used within the next trick. But from here on out, there's no new tricks until after Atlas. For here, I mean, just climb up. Just try to optimize your climb. It's really not that big of a deal. You're gonna be hit by these things. Now, very important after this next ascension to the top of Atlas's hand. One rock will hit you, and you need to have the second rock hit you before you reach the top, and have your bow ready to go. This rock has to hit you before you reach the top, because I'll show you. if you're up here and the rock hits you, it'll cause you to fall all the way down. So you have to let that rock hit you before you reach the top. Now when you get to the top, aim your bow and shoot it straight forward and break it. And then you'll skip the cutscene of it like surveying chain, and also skip the cutscene after that. And this minigame you can't break out of, you can't do anything, so just do it. My peasant. There's nothing really they can do here. I mean, you can let him hit you. It's just gonna hurt a lot. Skip that cutscene. Wait for these guys to make sure all these guys spawn before you throw the quake down, so that their spawns line up. Now when he's dead, you want to go to the menu and turn on your Urn of Poseidon, because that's involved in the next trick. You can skip the cutscene before this, and now this is where things get a tiny bit crazy, but not too crazy. I have faith that you guys should be doing fine. If you ever survived the tutorial and learned every trick, this shouldn't be too bad. So now this is the famous entrance skip. This is 3 different tricks lined up with each other that save around 40 seconds if you're really good. I think it saved 45 seconds on my world record before. So now what you're gonna do is if you look on the floor, you can see there's a white line here, like right where Frank Z's nose is. You see this line, and you see how it's kind of faded here, like right in between it, like right in the middle. That is where you want to go. That is where, right around this spot. If the Palace of the Fates appears, you're getting really close to the loading trigger, which you don't want to hit. You don't want to hit the loading trigger, because if you move too far, it's going to unload the next area, so you can't jump into it. So you have to go to this little piece of, like, faded white line. And what you're going to do is you're going to have Poseidon's Rage ready to go, and you're going to jump off. But wait until you leave the boundaries before you use Poseidon's Rage, because it'll snap you back in bounds. It's weird. You'll see what I mean when you practice. So jump, use Poseidon's Rage, turn it off, jump, and glide over here. And you should hang on this ledge. And that's step 1 of all these tricks. So now that you skipped that part, that switch is still in there and it's still grabbable, and that's what you want. Because normally you'd have to come by here, pull this switch, do this little stupid ass fight, and then pull this thing, and it's just, you don't got time for that. So now that you skipped the deloading of this area, you can jump over this spot and get in there. So now this is just a very simple, very, very high quake jump that you gotta really feel out. But if you're good at quake jumping, this shouldn't be too bad. It's one of the highest jumps in the game, but I don't think it's that hard. So you have your sub weapon equipped and Atlas Quake ready to go, and you just perform quake jumps like you know how to do. Sometimes you screw it up like me. I actually screwed it up on my world record as well. I want to see if I can get a visual up there. Okay, do you see that it looks like a kind of an ornament above you? Like it looks like a kind of like a Y or something, like the letter Y, the upper half of a Y. That's where you want to go. You want to get up that high, and then once you're done Atlas Quake jumping, just hold X to glide into it. See? You can glide right in. Easy. And you have to make this cutscene play. It's very important that that cutscene plays, so you can't just glide over it. So now we're in here. And normally you would grab this thing and there'd be a revolving puzzle where you have to pull that block into the door to stop it. And Kratos don't got time for that, so we're just gonna quake jump over it. So you're gonna go high enough that kind of the top half of Kratos disappears and simply glide in. Easy. When Kratos enters the ceiling, that's your indication you can just glide it through. So just keep that in mind. It is. Franker Z is the best assist. Sometimes these jumps die for no real reason. I think it's just me being bad, but I'll blame the game. Come on. Remember, get as high as possible without failing to jump like I just did. Get high enough that what? God damn game, why? I think my inputs are screwed up. If you see my weapon just pop up and aim straight forward and I go through another cycle of quake jump, it means I didn't press square fast enough, or I didn't hit square, or it didn't go through. So now Kratos is halfway through the ceiling, so we can just glide in. Easy. And now this will be deloaded, but don't let it scare you. It's not that bad. It'll reload in a sec. Easy. Now for this jump, you want to skip the cutscene that's going to play. So, you hop on this box. Not like this, just hop on it. And you're going to do like 3 or 4 cycles of hammer jumping. The one I taught you in the beginning of the game. Like 1 or 3. Once the camera changes, a good indication you can just jump. And now, as a safety precaution, you should press R1 to checkpoint yourself here. That's very important, because if you fail the next skip, it'll put you back before one of the high jumps, and you don't want that. So now, normally in the previous thing, you had to go get a lever of some sorts to go up to the top of here, put the lever in, and then pulling the lever causes those fires to go down, and then you have to slow down time and then go into it, and you're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to use the quake jump, not the quake jump, but in this case the hammer jump is good for this. So you're gonna jump at this location, hammer jump at this location. You can do it twice to make sure you have enough height. I'm gonna show you 2 different versions of this. So what I do is I like to be safe, because there's a way to go farther into this, but it's a little bit more risky. But this is a safe bet if you do it this way. If you cut into it and fall into that little thing, you'll get past the fire and still be successful in the skip. It'll just be slightly slower, but I like to be safe, so I'll always go in here. But there's another way that saves a little bit more time, that's a little bit more optimized, but I don't think it's as consistent as I want it to be. So you do the jump normally. And what you do, instead of going into that alcove, just go straight. Go straight ahead, hold the stick at 12 o'clock, and keep going straight. And you'll land in here. But hitting this ledge is kind of difficult. I'm gonna be honest. So I don't prefer to do it this way. I prefer to do it my way. But it is faster. So yeah. Now we're here. Now what you're gonna do is now this puzzle, normally you have to go all the way over here, pull this lever, and come all the way back over here and use the increased airflow to get... No, you pull the lever and this gate comes down. But you don't want to do that. That's not fun. That's not as fun. So ignore that lever. What you're going to do is you're going to do the double glide jump, as I've told you, holding X as you walk off of this ledge. Hit this thing. And you're going to glide all the way over here, double jump, and completely miss it like I just did. Go over here, double jump. Make sure you're not too high, and grab on this ledge. And when you pop yourself up, Like when you pull yourself up, continue to hold X. Hold X continually. It's very important that you hold it because you're about to do another double glide jump. So I pull myself up and hold X. And now I've hold X and I'm about to do the double glide jump. So now you're going to move forward and stay in the ceiling. It's very important you stay in the ceiling or everything's going to be screwed up and you're going to lose time. So now you're still holding X on top of this wall. You can't see Kratos right now, but I'll show you. Let me walk through this one more time. Remember, double glide jump off this thing. Make sure you get enough height. Double jump. So you can reach this ledge here. Climb up holding X. And now you're going to move forward without jumping. And glide forward while staying in the ceiling. So use your jumps to keep yourself in the ceiling. And kind of glide all the way past this wall. And you should glide right into here. I don't even know where it's going to put me. Okay, good. So to summarize. Double glide toss, double glide jump off that surface. And hang on this ledge. Climb up, holding X, go forward, double jump, staying in the ceiling, and glide into here. Don't get too close to this door, because there will be a cutscene. There's a cutscene trigger right there. I'm pointing with Kratos. He's like, right there. But I'll Franker Z it, because everyone loves Franker Z. Don't go anywhere here. This is Franker no. No. Alright. Now this is pretty self-explanatory. There's no new tricks here. You can't really do much here. Kick this. You gotta like really figure out the way you kick things in this. Figure out the distances, how much weighting you gotta put in the charge, all this other stuff. Kick this rock over here, and then you're gonna go pick up the translator. No, it's not a new meme. It's the way EXE did it in his tutorial, so I'm kind of honoring him by doing it. So you push this cube in, however way you wish. You can push it. It's much slower, but you can kick it, and it's fast. So now you're gonna pick up the translator, and this is heavy RNG. There's a heavy RNG in this segment, but if they unfortunately happen to hit you, which they will, no lie, they will. I'm gonna let them hit me just for redundancy's sake. So if they happen to hit you, you're gonna drop him. Now what you do is do an Atlas Quake, and after the first thing, after the first slam, press R1 and it'll cancel the Atlas Quake so you can pick him back up. So for another example, Quake, but you have to be facing him. See what I mean? This is just the fastest way to cancel a Quake. And if you have to eliminate the enemies somehow, this is the way you do it. And you bring the translator over here. Come here, boy. He's gonna break out of you no matter what. And all you gotta do is just stay in this corner and use Quakes until the minigame ends. I have forgotten the words. Now this next trick, you gotta just mash circle for it.
Read it.
You gotta mash circle and tell him to read it. That's the trick.
Keep going.
The trick is there's no trick. You just gotta do this. But you can turn Rage of the Titans on and off during this. So I guess that's funny.
Read it.
No!
No! Please, no! I cannot do it!
Read!
Accept this sacrifice of my blood.
And skip this cutscene. We don't need to see this. Now go up to this door and take the key out because you need this key. Open the door. Get on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur. Quick roll through the spot. Open this gate. There's really nothing for a little bit. No checks until the next part. Just do your quick rolls. There should be a small loading time here. Yep. There's actually like non-existent loading times in this game. Because they really optimized the way they loaded the game. Now you're going to roll over here. Push that key into that head. Continue rolls. There's no way to skip this next fight. You just have to do it. Just spam Atlas Quake.
We will never allow you to reach our sacred temple, Kratos.
Try to go in the middle so you can hit all of them. You know how it is. Make sure you double check every end zone of where they're coming from, because sometimes they love to hide. They love to hide on the side. Hey, believe it or not, we're almost at end game, guys. We're almost done. Well, not almost done, but we're close. This next trick, you gotta be really careful. Once you get up to these steps, be very careful. And you're gonna aim your bow right here. And if the whole screen shakes, it means you hit the right spot. You have 3 opportunities to find it before you go through with it. So once you get your angle right and shoot it, and it starts to shake the camera, it means you're in the best position. And what you're gonna do is fire 3 total shots, or 2 shots if you're like trying to find it, and you found it. It requires 2 more shots. So right now I need 2 more shots. So once you fire the 2 shots, it'll break this door down, and you're going to roll forward to trigger the cutscene along with the door coming down cutscene. So it saves around 8 seconds. So for example, I screwed it up right there. So that cutscene played. But what we want to happen is both cutscenes to play. So for example, if I do it wrong, it'll be Kratos, and it'll zoom in on Athena. We don't want this. We don't want this at all. So we want to stack the 2 cutscenes together by breaking the door down as we trigger. See, both of them are triggered. It saves around 8 seconds. It's more like optimizing the cutscenes. Very simple skip to do. So now what you do here, to optimize this whole thing, you're going to jump backwards and glide. Backwards, glide. Backwards, glide. Alright, for this next skip, ooh, this is a tough one. This is a tough skip. This is one of the toughest in the game. It's not tough in nature or principle, but it can go wrong, is what I'm saying. So instead of Atlas Quake Atlas Quake jumping, which is a little bit more riskier, I have never optimized it with Quake jumping, but I find hammer jumping to be a lot more safer. So there's a little tidbit with doing charges of this. So if you've ascended and you feel like you're not gaining enough height, or you're starting to lose height, or for whatever reason this jump goes sour, and you feel like you're about to fall, use Poseidon's Rage at the top. Use Poseidon's Rage after a cycle. Because now if you turn off the Urn of Poseidon, you can continue with hammer jumps with much better momentum. And this is what makes the hammer jump infinite. This is what makes it infinite. So, keeping that in mind, just keep in mind Urn of Poseidon is a great backup if you fall. If in any way the hammer jump gets screwed up, use Poseidon's Rage and break out of it. It's your backup strat for the run. So, now, if I could get a perfect camera angle here, I would love it. Okay. So I'm going to jump in place while pointing this out. Alright, do you see Franker Z over here? This is hard. I can't get a steady camera on it, but I'm sure you guys can see what I'm saying. Right here. Right up there. At the top of that pillar is where you need to jump to. That's your primary objective for the skip. There's a piece of collision up there that you can land on, and then from there you can just glide over behind everything and save 15 minutes. This is a very important skip for the run. So what you're going to do, have your hammer equipped and Poseidon's Rage ready to go, and do an ascension with L1 plus X, and then start doing hammer jumps. And a factor with hammer jumps is Kratos kind of inches backwards when he's high jumping with hammer. So watch. You see how Kratos moves backwards? So do hammer jumps into this pillar and turn around. So Kratos is kind of like glued to it. Get as close to the pillar as possible. And keep doing jumps. And if you feel like you're dropping or the jump's gonna die, use Poseidon's Rage to save yourself. But continue doing these jumps. And then once you feel like you've gotten to a certain height, turn around and jump. And put the stick forward ever so slightly. So use the hammer jump to get up to the top. And then when you reach a certain height, which is basically where that column ends, you can jump again, but only slightly go forward, so you land ever so slightly on the collision, because it's easy to go past it as well. Once you've done this a few times, you'll see exactly what I mean. So you just continually do hammer jumps. Now everything's screwed up because I switched the wrong weapon, so I'm probably gonna have to use Poseidon's Rage for this. This is where you're supposed to be. Right around where Kratos just was. Go back in your video and see where Kratos is. So now that you're in the perfect positioning, all you gotta do is get out of the menu after a switch and jump and ever so slightly push the stick forward. And then you'll like poof right on top of the surface you want to be at. Or miss it, because I didn't put forward enough of it. So now, you've cycled it, you got in the right height, now you're going to unpause, turn around, and ever so slightly move forward. And then you'll land right on this thing, and once you've landed and you put your feet on this thing, the hard part of this skip is over. So now all you're going to do is from here, jump twice, outside of the bounds here, and swing in, and you should land in here. And this saves like 16 minutes. 16 full minutes from the run. It's very useful, and it's very required if you want a good time. So now that we're here, everything is all screwed up. Now normally this translator, once you there's a certain line, I'll show you with Franker Z. There's a line here, like right about right here, right where Franker Z's nose is. If you touch this area, it'll cause a cutscene to play, and the translator will kill himself, and it's pretty much done. I don't know if you can recover from it. I've never recovered from it, but you definitely don't want to hit here. So what you're gonna do, instead of hitting that point, you're gonna you can either jump with a this ascension into a Poseidon's Rage, or you can do a hammer jump, whatever you gotta do to jump twice after an ascension, and then glide over here, grab this ledge, jump out, and since everything's all screwed up, this translator doesn't know you're actually in the room, so we're kind of just hanging out as friends. Yeah, we're just friends. So basically, this whole minigame, this whole puzzle with going through this thing and preventing the translator from dying, all this bullshit, you can skip just by doing that little high jump. And now we get to beat the shit out of him.
Read the words.
Hear me,
noble
sisters
sisters.
who forge our destinies. Another seeks an audience to change their fate.
Read.
And at this point in the run,
As proof that he is worthy.
honestly speaking, the hard tricks are done.
Kratos, this will be the end of us all. You must
In my humble
stop.
opinion, all the difficult tricks of the run are done at this point in the game. So if you've made it this far, and you've done every trick within like 1 or 3 tries, you probably have a pretty good time.
The way.
A pretty good time. Skip this cutscene. This key becomes unlocked, so you can grab the skull. Now, this next trick involves me jumping over this door and doing some crazy shit, but you need to get this key. It is required to get this key, or you cannot progress. So you acquire the warrior skull. Okay. This next jump, it's kind of difficult, but basically do 2 charges. Like 2 charges of a hammer jump. Switch to the right weapon, unlike I'm doing. Like 2 is what you need. Now what you're going to do is jump, but jump more to the left, and you'll grab the ledge. Because if you do it too far to the right, you'll fall off, and you'll have to redo the jump. So jump, and see, it's finicky with how you can jump on it. It's very meticulous, and you should climb up here. So do this, do a hammer cycle. 1 or 2 is pretty good. Jump, and grab the ledge. Now you're good. You want to get up on this ledge and have feet on this ledge. Now from here, you're going to jump out of bounds to the right and swing inward into this little alcove, which I'll show you right now. Right here. Swing into this alcove. Now, I don't want to restart the checkpoint because we're going to have to go way before the translator. But basically, from the top of that door, get to here. It might take a little bit to play with, but doing that skips the cutscene where the game surveys the room, and you don't want that. So from here, this is the tallest hammer jump in the game. Tallest hammer, tallest hammer jump of the entire game, of the entire route. But this one is very high, so you want to have a backup. So have your Poseidon's Rage ready, and remember how doing this ascension ignores gravity. Just do it right off the side of that ledge, and then do hammer jumps continually until you feel like you're losing height, which I think I am now. So I'll do a Poseidon's Rage and reset my momentum and continue high jumping. Just like this. And once the camera angle changes, you know you've made enough height. Or that didn't cancel. Oh, I didn't cycle my weapons, that's why. Sorry though. We can still perform this trick. It's just gonna suck when you have to view this during a run. So if inevitably this trick fails in some way, you can just high jump and try it. So you do hammer jumps. I think it's like 6 or 7 charges. Remember the Poseidon's Rage as your backup in case you need it. Once the camera changes, cycle and jump. Jump to the ceiling. And you skip the whole puzzle and you skip the cutscene. Now progress like normal. Pull this crank. Everyone loves cranks. Push it, pull it, do whatever you want with it. Fondle it. I don't care. Do something to it. Now you don't have to have this thing get low, as low as I just made it, but it can make it a little bit safer. Because sometimes you'll fall right off and you'll die. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna glide over here, but be very careful not to go past. Be careful not to go past anywhere. Like, don't touch any part of this spot because it's gonna spawn 2 Cyclopses and a bunch of barriers, and you don't want that. So all you gotta do is do a simple hammer high jump. And glide over to this, and if you get a little bit... I would do 2 charges to be safe, honestly, because that'll give you enough height. Are you kidding me, Kratos? You can do it with 1 charge, but this is safer. Hang from this, climb up, and jump around this. And now the Cyclopses won't spawn, and the barriers won't spawn, so you can just move on. Very easy jump. Should give you no trouble. Put the key in. Open it. Now this trick's a little weird, but put your checkpoint there just in case. So basically, what you're gonna do, get on top of this chest and ascend. Do a few hammer charges, just enough to get you over this little wall. And what you're gonna do is go forward and then go left and swing. You're trying to go left and then hit the loading trigger that's at the top of this column. Don't clip into this room, but go beneath it so you hit the loading trigger of the next area. You'll see what I mean. So we do 1 hammer charge, just 2 to be safe. Jump, glide outwards, swing back in. Don't grab that ledge. That's a first. I've never grabbed that ledge. Just remember to hit this. Make sure you hit somewhere at the top of that column. And you'll hit the ground, and if you're lucky, or if you hit that loading trigger, this next area loads. And easy. Done. Easy. Now, you're going to equip your stone Euryale's head so you can eliminate that guy. Now you're going to quickly go like 5 or 6 like 5 or 6 of those rope things, and then you can just detach yourself from it and glide the rest of the way. Now for here, normally you would have to go to these archers, and the archers would need to be killed. But if you use Rage of the Titans, you'll just eat the damage, and it's whatever. Now this next part is not crazy difficult, but it can be tricky. This gliding tech. Why am I not gaining any height? Just be very careful with this next segment. It's very easy to screw this up. The lava that appears, do you see that lava ahead? You can, if you feel like you're not gonna make it, just hover in this middle part and wait for an opportunity. Here you go. And that's it. Pretty easy.
The ashes of the phoenix.
Pretty easy.
Only fire will set him free.
Now, normally you have to go get the ashes of the phoenix up there and cause it to come down here, and it has to go forward and get burned, but Kratos won't have time for that. So just go over here and do a very simple high jump. Very simple hammer jump. And glide right onto it, right on top of it. And the game thinks you're going up here anyway, so it's not like you skipped anything. So now the game thinks that the phoenix is inside the column. Pull this thing, and it's going to rise this up. Now that that's here, normally you would have to put some dumb things in this mouth and go through and upstairs and whatever, but you can just do a hammer jump to get up here. Do enough hammer charges to make this camera angle change, because it's really finicky and it's very weird. Just blow the horn. There's no phoenix, but apparently it's there now. Skip that cutscene. Now what we're gonna do is go over here. Now you might nip the trigger here, like when you're gliding, but it's all right if it happens. There's a barrier. Yeah, a barrier doesn't spawn in this spot, so you're fine. If that thing goes off, it doesn't matter. So now what you're gonna do from this position is turn to the left ever slightly and roll forward, so you can just you'll be sitting in front of this switch. And then once the camera angle, it'll survey, and then you can grab the switch early. And now you have to cycle this switch to load the next area. So this is the only reason why I pulled the switch. You have to pull it twice. So pull it twice and the next area loads. And now what you're going to do is, I've been meaning to optimize this, but you can just do this with a few charges of hammer jump. I have no idea, Pio. I've never actually tried it. I don't think it's possible. So you do a few hammer charges, and now you're sitting on the ledge up here. You can't really see it. The camera angle's bad, but you don't even need a camera angle. Just jump and do a Chronos Rage. And it'll open this door, and you're good. The puzzle's done. Over here, jump at the spot, do a normal high jump, grab this ledge, drop in, pop this, and go kill the last Spartan.
Too far to fail.
Should take two hammer techniques. 2 hammer triangle attacks. Skip the cutscene, unfortunately. Act mad. I don't know if there's any like formula for this. I'm pretty sure it's on a timer. So just say what you want.
I grow tired of the lies of the gods. Come down here and face me now.
Zeus! Skip this cutscene. Just wait for you to break out. Also, turn on Urn of Poseidon. I forgot to tell you guys that. Turn on Urn of Poseidon, roll forward, and use Urn of Poseidon's Rage to do a little bit of damage. Your main spell you're using for this fight is Poseidon's Rage because it can reach his head. It should take 2 more. Well, 1 more because I used the one from before. Climb this thing. Use 2 square moves. And then smash circle to grab it, and then cut the tentacle off. Now you're gonna use 2 more. Now get a little bit closer to the Kraken, so your Poseidon's Rage hits him, and do 2 of them, or 3 of them, because I didn't do enough damage. I didn't mash enough. But generally speaking, it should take 2 Poseidon's Rage to make him do that attack. Now what you're gonna do here is, this is like universally the worst jump in the game, so I just high jump to be safe. High jumping is way easier than trying to jump on that normally. So just high jump. Now during this cutscene, I like to turn off Poseidon's Rage because Kronos' Rage is a little bit better for the end of this fight. So now you're gonna spam this. And you should fall off and pull the lever, and you're done. Skip the cutscene. Roll forward. Jump over. You should have a little tiny cutscene of it going away. And just do the quick time event with the bird. What's very important when you're done the quick time event to hold the stick in a certain direction and mash circle. So after this cutscene, mash circle and hold a direction, or like left or something. It doesn't really matter. You have to feel it out. You'll see what I mean. And if you do this correct, like right now, I'm holding the stick at the 10 o'clock position and spamming circle, because it'll skip the cutscene, and 2, it'll break me out of this next part. So if you're holding a direction and hitting circle, Kratos will spawn in this room, and like, for whatever reason, he'll break out of it, and then the time slow won't apply to you. So you'll save time because you won't be moving as slow. So that's a pretty important skip. And this is a very easy high jump. So go up to this corner, launch yourself, and cycle through your hammer like 4 times. My visual indication is when Kratos disappears behind that thing. Jump, and then glide in. Easy. Yeah. It's like 4 charges or until Kratos disappears, and just glide into this room. Very easy. And you skip that puzzle. Alright, this next trick is pretty neat. So basically, you're going to want to have the hammer equipped with Rage on. That's your that's your setup for this. And you're going to glide in, and immediately when you touch the ground, do that. Do your time slow move. You want that. You want to do this. Right when you land, right when you put feet on the floor, you want to do this. So you're going to glide in, and immediately when you touch it, do the slow. And now, she'll be slowed when she should definitely not be slowed. This is a glitch. So now, you're not meant to slow her down. That's like not part of the game. But for whatever reason, it's like semi-active. So it will slow down time, but now you can't. It's impossible anymore. Yeah, it's impossible. It just continually cancels. But that first one, when you land on the floor, will work. So now that she's in the air, the premise for this is you jump off, press R2, and then triangle to smack her in the head with the hammer. And then go back. except I'm not close enough. It should send her to her circle state relatively fast. And you're done. Now this next part, it's very, very important. When you spawn on the sword for the second sister, you need to equip or attack as soon as possible the sister where she is. If you do it quick enough, you can pretty much skip the bulk of the fight, but you gotta output damage very, very fast. See, now that you outputted that damage, she's nearly dead, and one arrow should do it. Once she gets staggered, she'll come back to the sword and you can end the fight. So it's very important that you get that combo out. And keep your bow on her when she's flying so you can tell where she goes. But overall, this fight is not that bad. Do the quick time event. Okay, now for this segment, this part of the fight, you can do what you want. I don't think the damage here even matters, but one hammer swing should send her into a state where you can do the slow time. So send her into that state, freeze time, roll forward, smack her twice until she collapses, and then as the slowdown time ticks down, throw down some Kronos' Rage over and over and over again, so that during this cutscene of her going back into the mirror, it'll break the mirror. Now, a very meticulous part of this fight. The second sister is actually moving within the stage, and you need to wait for her to move, because if you send the first sister into her, if you do it too early and send the first sister into her slowdown time state, then the other sister won't be at that mirror, and you have to wait out the time slow. So you have to just wait out like 6 or 7 seconds and then attack her. Like right about now. And now the other sister will be inside the mirror and or right there. That was strange. That's a little bug. I don't think it should be a big deal though. Same thing as before, throw down some Kronos' Rage so it breaks the mirror. And now the battle is pretty much done. Just wait. Now we're waiting for the second sister to go behind the center mirror, which requires no input from you. She'll automatically always go behind it. Just wait out this attack. You might get hit, you might not. I usually get hit. Send her to this state, and grab her. And that's it. That's the fight. Pretty easy. It's not bad. Oh, no. Break the mirror. Turn off rage if you want. Dude, we're at the end. We are at the end of this run. If you guys have survived this long and you're still listening, I would bake you some cookies. Because you listened to like this 2.5 hour long tutorial. You guys are the best. So do a few charges of hammer jump right here to jump up here. Loading trigger now. It's normal. You can use the air hammer if you want to break this down. The endurance run is full of little hammer jumps. So what you're gonna do is go all the way up to this barrier, do an ascension, and do a few cycles of the hammer jump. And then you're gonna, right after this one, or 4 or 5 cycles, you're gonna jump and glide to the top of the barrier. So your feet hit the barrier, and then go right into a double glide toss. And then jump over that barrier forming, and you're fine. And now continue on. And then this one you gotta jump again. Do like 4 or 5 cycles maybe. And be sure to keep rage on, because the Medusas can stone you in the air if you don't have rage on. That's very important. So I'm going to jump and then hit the surface, double glide jump, and make sure you go into this spot right here. Make sure you hit this, because it's very important, because if you don't hit that spot, everything else won't load. And then you're going to do the same glide jump. just remember to jump and hit that surface and glide. Right over. And everything should spawn now. Now what the best method for this one is to do L2. Ooh, no. You wanna hold L2 and then hold circle and wait for it, and then flash freeze everything in the room. You're gonna wait for the Cyclopses to come down and do it all again. L2, hold circle, release. And done. And now you gotta wait for all the other monsters to spawn. So you're gonna jump in the air and do Atlas Quakes, because the stomp of the Atlas Quake does more damage than the first hit. So you want that stomp to hit. And right here, near the end of it, you can just throw down some Kronos' Rage to make that hand go up, but it's not really important if you miss it. So now we're in the final part of the run. Clotho.
Clotho weaves the thread of life for every mortal, god and time.
Man, I'm starting to lose my voice.
Find your thread.
This is a lot of talking.
Control the mirrors of the fates, the source of their power, and use them as a gateway to return.
Now you're gonna go over here, jump a little bit, and then throw down some Kronos' Rage to break those bodies so you can move this. Maybe sub 3. Now you're gonna do a normal hammer jump. 1 charge is all you need, because you'll grab the ledge. Climb this rope, and then now you're gonna get the biggest break of the entire game. This is like a 25 second cutscene. This is your last break before the end. So use it wisely. Sip your drink. Get in the zone. I believe in you. Alright, this next skip can end your run. It's one of the toughest, not toughest skips, but if you screw it up, it will screw everything up. So basically, the premise of this skip, when you normally grab this lever, it'll lock Kratos in place, you'll rise up, and then Clotho will say some dumbass words, and then the barriers will spawn. But if you use a hammer high jump, you can skip the entire Clotho fight. So you're going to do a hammer jump, jump up to this ledge, and quickly slow down time. Quickly slow down time. And get into that barrier before it spawns. Because once it does, you're fucked. So it's very important that you slow down time for that. And now we're going to the mirror jump. So now that we skipped Clotho, we can't really change the mirror. Clotho's death usually allows us to do things with the mirrors. So now we pull this lever.
Find your thread. You will be able to control the mirrors. Use them as a gateway.
You have to do this for the loading trigger. That causes the next part to load. So now you're gonna go backwards until like halfway through this water segment until the music mutes itself, and you know you've hit the loading trigger. And now the last big tough part of the run. We have to do quake jumps all the way to the top of the mirror. So get to a certain height and you just glide in and you'll grab this ledge. That's all you gotta do. It's actually a very short quake jump, so it's not that bad in my opinion. And once you reach the top, switch to your hammer, do a hammer jump, do a cycle, and make sure you equip the hammer and jump behind the mirror, and it'll cause you to go straight to the final fight. Now what you're going to do here, Zeus is going to lurch forward, and he's going to spawn 3 sirens. So what you want to do is do Rage and do Kronos Rage, but just a little bit to send the first one to the circle state, and then break her back. And now go after another Siren while laying down a few Kronos' Rage. And the Kronos Rage that you laid trying to hurt these Sirens will hurt Zeus. So you throw down another one, another 2 or 3 maybe. Just be careful. Or so you have to be careful or it will accidentally kill the Sirens. You don't want that. Break the back. Throw down more, because it doesn't matter now. Circle status hand, stab it with the hammer somehow. I don't know how Kratos does that. Now just fight Zeus. It's really not that bad. Now he's gonna try to steal your sword away from you, but it's actually your hammer. Whoa. Okay. Zeus is... Okay, good. I was like, did I not have the hammer? If you're fucking immune, dude, don't even do this to me. Alright, dude. I've already overdamaged you. Is he immortal? Some dumb stuff like this can happen. I don't know why he's not dying, though. There we go. I don't know why he had so much health. That was strange. That normally doesn't happen.
I have come to kill you, Zeus.
Do the circle prompt, do this prompt. And now if you're lucky, sometimes you'll overdamage him enough to skip to the next phase, but it's not consistent. It's just a nice bonus to the end of a run. So right now I didn't get the phase skip, so he's gonna steal the sword again. But he really didn't steal your sword because I have another hammer in my pocket. Oh, don't overdamage him when he's spawning these things, because if you overdamage him, he'll become immortal. So be very careful when he spawns those orbs, those lightning orbs. And now this is it. This is the end. Do this last quick time event. Stab him with the hammer somehow. Shove him against the wall. R1. Lift this shit up on Zeus's head.
I told you I would make you pay for what you did.
Alright, now you just wait. This is basically your break.
Playing with you, Kratos.
He's gonna shock you. You can press circle if you want, it doesn't really matter. I think it actually makes the scene longer, so I wouldn't press circle. Now Kratos becomes a magician, and he'll throw this hammer into the ground, and when it goes into the ground, it turns into the sword, because Kratos is a magician. Abracadabra! But the hammer is very important for this fight, so don't think you can use the Blade of Olympus. Use the hammer. Now this next quick time event,
Release me from this
if you screw this quick time event up, it's detrimental to the run, because it will kill you instantly. So you have to be focus on this quick time event, because it'll kill you and you'll lose like a minute at least. So just concentrate when you're doing this quick time event. It's very easy to skip or screw up, especially on this next one, because this is a little deceptive and weird. Just focus right here. If you screw that one up, you'll still die. But that's like the last quick time event in the entire game. What's up, backhand? Alright. Now this final part, all you gotta do is go backwards. Go back to this point, come back up. And now all you gotta do is one more mirror jump. One more mirror quake jump and you're done. So do your quake jumps. Oh man, I was doing that so fast. Now if during a run you decide, oh, I'm just gonna mirror jump and not go back to that loading trigger, you'll end up in blackness. And you don't want the blackness. because that ends your run. Not really ends your run, it just really screws you up. Get to the top of the mirror, equip your hammer. You don't actually need the hammer after this, so just switch to a weapon and you're done. GG. What is my button to end this timer? I forget. Hmm? There we go. And that's the run. That's literally it. If you've listened this far in the video, give yourself a pat on the back.
We have been expecting you, Ghost of Sparta. The gods are far too powerful for us to defeat.
And if any of you guys have questions in the video, feel free to make a comment and I'll try to answer it. Akion could probably help out too, answering questions. But overall, this run is pretty crazy. It's pretty fast. It's very intense. I think it's much better than God of War 1. Do you guys think God of War 2 is better than God of War 1, the speed game? Be honest. Be honest with me. Because I prefer God of War 2 over God of War 1.
We have faced far worse than this one fallen mortal. But we are the gods. We whom the mortal.
Hopefully, Adib, this is why I made that video. All right, now probably at this point I'm gonna cut it, so none of what I'm saying is gonna be on the tutorial. But I'm hoping somebody takes my world record. That'd be cool. Maybe Akion can get back in the game and take it from me.
We will stand together, and I will wipe out this plague. Olympus will prevail.
Man, that was a little bit more work than I thought. That tutorial. I was like talking endlessly. But it's alright. That's fun. I've always wanted to make one of these tutorials. And I'm sure it'll help a lot of people. Zeus! Shoots!
Zeus, your son has returned.
Zeus!
I bring the destruction of Olympus.
Blah 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 blah. Alright guys, now that we're finished with the tutorial, we're probably going to do a little bit of no upgrade run. Because I don't think I want to speedrun right now. I was a little